may not this. So very small real life problem I have brought, and we'll see how the formulation takes place. So I'm having data on. So a very simple. So this is one application problem. So one application. So the very small data it is. Two tailors A and B earns rupees 15 earns rupees 15 and rupees 20 per day. Respectively. A can make 6 shirts. A can make 6 shirts and 4 pants. While B can make 10 shirts and 3 pants. To spend minimum on 60 shirts and 40 pence. Formulate a LPP. So with many considerations I have picked up this illustration. You might have come across many real life problems and you might have formulated, but this one carries definitely few things which are very nice and which generally people don't consider when they are solving. So don't go into the environment of the problem, but what it truly carries with it is very good. So let us formulate this problem. What it says is two tailors A and B. So two tailors A and B earns rupees 15 and rupees 20 per day respectively. So first line is very clear. So two tailors are there and per day rupees 20 earned by tailor A and by tailor A rupees 15 and by tailor B rupees 20. Now A can make 6 shirts and 4 pants while B can make 10 shirts and 3 pants. To spend minimum on 60 shirts and 40 pants, formulate a LPP. So the peculiar part of this problem is what are the decision variable. Generally it is very easily determined that these are the decision variables, but this problem will require a little thinking to choose the decision variable. If I would have the live audience, then then it would definitely, I will prove the point that how the things are not correctly thought out. Well, we are here to learn. So to spend minimum, so here this to spend minimum is very important to choose the decision variable. Decision variable means those x1, x2, what is my x1 and what is my x2. So that is, they are the decision variable. So because we have to spend minimum and then this quantity, so we want to minimize the objective function. So to spend minimum is the concern, so we want to minimize the objective function. So minimum expenditure has to come. Now where the expenditure figures appear in this data, the expenditure figures are there but written in a very smart way. It says that the tailor A earns rupees 15 So rupees 15 is the earning of tailor A, but the person who is giving him the order to make the pants and shirt, the person is spending. So here the earning of tailor A and B are the expenditures made by the opposite party. And so the rupees 15 and rupees 20 per day are the figures which describes earnings or receiving to the tailors, but they are the expenditures of the person who is asking the job done. And so rupees 15 and rupees 20 will be used to determine the expenditure made by the opposite party. And so the decision variables has to be, and because the numbers are rupees 15 per day, so for how many hours how many days the A tailor should work up, and for how many days the B tailor should work up, they are the decision variables. And so here our decision variables are very smartly or required smartness to be used here. So the decision variables, your x1 is number of days tailor A works, days tailor A works, and x2 is the number of days tailor B works. Now the earning of the tailor A is the expenditure of the opposite party. So A earns rupees 15 per day and A is working for x1 hours, and therefore total expenditure is Z equal to, so A gets 15 rupees and is working x1 days, so 15 x1, and B gets rupees 20, he is working x2 days. So this is the total expenditure which is to be minimized, So first, as I said, it requires a nice way of thinking. So we have got the objective function. So this is your C1 x1 plus C2 x2. C1 is 15, C2 is 20. Now to form the constraint, we generally don't write the words, but very smartly we make a table. So here, this is how this A and B, and here the shirts and the pants, So A can make 6 shirts. So A can make 6 shirts and he can make 4 pants. So A can make 4 pants. Then B can make 10 shirts. So 10 shirts. And he can make 3 pants. So B can make 3 pants. And we have chosen x1, x2. So these are the variables x1, x2. These x1, x2 are the days. So what will happen here, when A works for 1 day, he makes 6 shirts and 4 pants. So A is working for x1 days and B is working for x2 days. The concern is that how many shirts in all will be formed. So A will make 6 shirts in 1 day. And so x1 days are there. So 6x1 is the number of shirts which is formed by this A. And the B will make, in 1 day he makes 10 shirts and x2 days he is working. And that's why this total of the shirts, and we are concerned with to spend minimum on 60 shirts. So this total of shirts should be 60 and the total of the pants has to be 40. Now how many shirts are formed? The 6 into x1 are the shirts by A, plus 10 into x2 are the shirts by B. So this is the total number of shirts, and so this total number of shirts has to be 60 or more. You cannot make less than 60 shirts because then the requirement is not satisfied. So here, out of those less and greater, the proper inequality will be greater than or equal to 60. So as we said that each constraint describes one resource limitation. So this is the first constraint that we have worked out, and which limitations, which restriction it poses. The restriction is that there must be 60 certs formed, 60 certs made. Can be more than that, but not less than at all. So this is the one limitation. The same thing happens for the other. So in the LPPs, once we get one restriction clear, the other is just replication of the idea. So with regards to the paints, so one day gives 4 paints. So x1 days will give us 4 times x1 number of paints, and then plus one day 3 paints. So x2 days will generate 3 times x2 number of paints, and the number of paints are restricted to be minimum 40. So this is greater than or equal to 40. So we get the second constraint ready, which is describing the minimum requirement for the number of paints. First was for the shirts. So this objective function and these two are our constraints as we had there, and then final part, that of non-negativity restrictions. So here x1 is number of days, it cannot be negative, so it has to be non-negative, and so very truly we will have to have x1 greater or equal to 0, x2 greater or equal to 0. So these non-negativity restrictions, so this 1 and this 2 and this 3. So this very simple but very nicely thought out problem describes it's a linear. Now why it is a linear? Because in all the 3 components, everywhere we observe the linearity, just 1 degree. x1, x2, more famous in geometry is x and y. So 15x plus 20y is more famous for linear conception, but x1, x2 are written in the LPP because we may have more than 2 variables as such. So xy is used only when 2 variables in discussion. Now we have more than 2, then we use x1, x2, x3. So this is linear, constraints are linear, negativity linear. So this is a very introductory problem which describes what kind of the LPPs are. So we understand objective function, the constraints, and this non-negativity. Now with this example and that general formulation of LPP, so we understood what is an LPP. We took one simple example to formulate. So this is called the formulation. So the final formulation will be, so the generally LPP is written in, so final form will be this way. This you want to minimize. So the final form will be written in this way. Minimize z equal to, we copy that thing from there, 15x1 plus 20x2. And then we write here conditions subject to. Those conditions are copied as they are 6x1 plus 10x2 greater or equal to n60, and then the other one 4x1 plus 3x2 greater or equal to 40, and then finally we write the non-negativity. So this is what they call a formulated LPP. So all the 3 components will be visible. So after this, once again I will give you some verbal description, then again I will get back to the board to describe what I have explained. So, so after this, what the next step would be, or how the things goes ahead. So in all these linear programming problems or any operation research problem, 3 stages are there. So, so how the next step connects? The 3 stages, as I was saying, first stage is the problem itself. So we have the problem. The second stage is formulating the problem. So we have seen how the problem is formulated. And the third stage is to solve the problem. So the problem, then formulation of the problem, and the solution of the problem. So after this, the next concern comes how to solve this problem, how to get the answers. Now, so from here, now I'll orally discuss and then I'll display the words that I described. So the question is, first thing, what is the solution? So our aim is to find values of decision variable x1, x2, xn, but the question is, what is the solution? So perfect answer is this: solution is the set of values of decision variables which satisfies the restrictions only. We don't include the non-negativity, so we are concerned with the second component of the LPP. So we give a very simple definition of solution. So the first concern, first thing one has to pick up, what is solution? Solution is the set of values of decision variables which satisfy the constraints. Now the next improvement is, because this non-negativity has to be there, so the moment a solution also satisfies the non-negativity restriction, means the decision variable assumes non-negative values, means these two are included, then that solution is called feasible solution. So solution improved to the feasible solution, solution feasible solution, solution satisfying constraint, feasible solution which satisfy it's a solution which satisfies the non-negativity restriction. Then the third improvement to this feasible solution is to connect the first component. So if a feasible solution also optimizes the objective function, then that feasible solution is called optimum solution. So in solution we'll have these three stages mainly: the solution, then the the feasible solution, and then the optimum solution. So optimum solution has to optimize the objective function. So here in this problem also we need to know what is the solution, we need to know what is the feasible solution, and we need to know what is the optimum solution. So these three components will come. Now before we talk about solving this problem, in between few points will come in. Now here we can see the problem was so simple because we had two variables and two equations, no problem. In general, if you could recall, we have several equations and we'll have several variables. The problem